when I got into martial arts, it talks about, when you get into martial arts, it talks about defeating the enemy, and you can only defeat the enemy from within to without. So by me coming in and being a police officer, I realized then that, oh my God, this is not anything that I thought it was to be. And so when I came in as a police officer, that was the first eye-awakening for me, was that the oath that police officer took was to the fraternal order first, and then secondary to the Constitution. This is why they don't have an allegiance to the Constitution, because in their eyesight, in their theory, first in line is first in time. And because of that, your allegiance is to the first oath, not to the second or third, to the first. But, however, I forgot about that because I didn't think there was any significance into that until within the last 15 years that I heard the sovereign movement talk about the oath, the oath, the oath, and I'm thinking, what the heck is all of that they're talking about here? So, but back then, it was, none of us thought any relevance to it, and it was discarded. And so we proceeded on, and so as I got through the police department, there was so much that was going on, I didn't want to be a part of it. So eventually I ended up leaving the police department because I saw much of the fraud that took place. But prior to me leaving, I decided to opt in and go into, school to become an attorney. And so while you're going to school for the related subject, the police department to pick it up, so I figured, let me take advantage of that. And so I got started in that, but I couldn't hang in there for very much longer because it was just, I was getting too deep into what it was that I didn't want to be a part of anymore. And I figured out that at that point I assessed in a plan and how that I could basically accomplish what I need to accomplish, focus on that goal, stay true to that goal, and come out with a sound resolution that I can help the mass people to overcome. So there was a lot of painstaking efforts and painstaking sacrifices I had to do in the interim of doing all of that. Okay, but I also had to make sure that I didn't lose my life. Hopefully I didn't lose my life in the process of doing all of that. So, and this was where the martial arts came in from, because when I got into the police department, my martial arts instructor said, I don't know why you feel the need to get into this police department. There's no need for you to do that. But whatever you do, don't fire a single shot. So I said, okay, well, in order for me to do that, you need to teach me how to be the baddest woman on the block. That's just it. There's no way that I can come in and take out a suspect without taking him down, hand to hand. So he says, I'll teach you that. But whatever you do, do not get drawn into something that is not of your nature. At the time, I didn't know what that was until much later on. Then I realized he's talking about being drawn into someone else's fight, to someone else's being a bully or bodyguard for someone else, and you don't approve of their tactics. So that's what the police department is. The police department is protecting the fraternal order. That is their order. That's what they do. Another name that you can call it is, enforcing policies for the corporation. So there's really not much validity there. What I thought I was doing was protecting the people, and you're right, but instead it was protecting the order. I call it the order. It's a fraternal order because you took an oath, or should I say we took an oath. So anyways, I used that as a stepping stone for me to get ahead, what I needed to do to accomplish, to define what was this organization that my mother was part of, or better yet, most of my parents at the time. Was more. My mother seemed to be more strung out on this organization than my father were. So that's what led me to keep focused. Anyhow, the point of it that I wanted to say was I needed to get in and to find out what this whole system was about, so that I can educate people, should I be alive, to educate them, to tell them how to defeat this system. And it's not so much about defeating it, it's just how to exit the matrix, and what was it all about, and how did it ensnare us all. So that was my motivation, and I stuck with that plan. I had a lot of deviation, I had a lot of distraction, but ultimately I stayed on course. So I got into the police department, became an attorney, and I did those things, and I got out. And in the process, I was being groomed to be a congressman, a congressional member, or Senate, or better yet, the President of the United States. I thought that was a tall order at the time. But because of my ability to learn and to adequately, I was very good at reading and comprehending things. So they wanted me to be a constitutional attorney. They said that I would have been one of the best that this country would have ever seen. I got on the legislative board of Senator Moynihan. And when I was able to do that, I was able to accompany him every so often to Washington, D.C. It is when I got the first-hand look about how they really do business in Washington, D.C. inside. And when I saw how they really did business, I thought, oh, my God, oh, this is not what I really signed up for at all. And so I really don't want to be a part of this. But I also have to play my cards. Okay, so I don't want to be a part of this for indefinite. I certainly don't want to get a snail for the rest of my entirety. So what is my advantages here, and how can I keep my eye on a prize and save my sanity? So I had to do a lot of things, and martial art was the epitome for me to keep me grounded and to keep me moving forward and to remind me why I was doing all of this, for the very reason that I am here today.